The vastness of space had belonged to the galactic hegemony for over 3,000 years. Their domain stretched across 17 spiral arms, encompassing over 40,000 inhabited worlds and nearly 100 sentient species. Their technological superiority was unquestioned, their military might unchallenged, and their bureaucratic control absolute. The hegemony's golden emblem, 6 stars arranged in perfect hexagonal harmony, adorned every official vessel, station, and outpost across known space. Commander Vex of the Hegemony Border Fleet stood on the command deck of the unwavering Doctrine, his 4-fingered hands clasped behind his back as he surveyed the holographic display showing the border sector under his protection. His skin, the pale blue of all Acridians, caught the soft glow of the ship's ambient lighting as he paced with measured steps across the polished deck. "Status report," he said, his translated voice smooth through the ship's communication system. "All systems nominal." "Commander," responded his second-in-command, Officer Thel. "Border beacons report no unauthorized transit. Scheduled merchant vessels are proceeding according to their registered flight paths. It's been quiet for the past 17 cycles." Vex nodded, his vertical pupils narrowing slightly. Quiet was good. Quiet meant order. And order was the foundation upon which the hegemony had built its dominion. "Maintain standard patrol vector," Vex ordered. "We'll complete our—" "Commander," the sensor officer's voice cut through the calm atmosphere of the bridge. "I'm detecting an anomaly at coordinates 37 to 2412, just beyond the Krell Nebula." Vex turned sharply. "Define anomaly." "Unknown, sir." The reading appeared suddenly. No warp signature, no jump trace. It's as if it materialized. The commander's skin darkened slightly, an involuntary response of concern among his species. "Visual confirmation." "Attempting now, sir." The main view screen flickered as the ship's advanced optical systems focused on the distant coordinates. For a moment, there was nothing but the familiar backdrop of stars and the wispy edges of the Krell Nebula. Then something came into focus. It was a ship, or at least it appeared to be a ship. Its design defied all established hegemony architectural principles, where hegemony vessels favored geometric precision and symmetrical elegance. This craft seemed almost organic in its construction. Its hull was matte black, absorbing rather than reflecting light, giving it a void-like appearance that made its true dimensions difficult to gauge. "Magnify," Vex ordered, his voice tightening. The image zoomed in, revealing more details. The ship was approximately 1/4 the size of the unwavering Doctrine, but its configuration suggested a military vessel rather than a civilian craft. There were no visible weapon emplacements, but something about its design suggested a predatory nature. "Any identifying markers? Recognition codes? Transponder signals?" Vex asked, his eyes fixed on the strange vessel. "None, Commander. It's broadcasting nothing. Our systems can't even classify its construction materials. Initial scans suggest compounds unknown to our database." This was unprecedented. Every known spacefaring race was cataloged in the hegemony archives. Every known ship design was documented, studied, and categorized. This vessel matched nothing in their extensive records. "Open a communication channel." "Standard greeting protocol," Vex ordered. The communications officer worked at her console, her slender fingers dancing across the interface. "Channel open, Commander." Vex straightened his posture, conscious of representing the full authority of the hegemony. "Attention, unidentified vessel. This is Commander Vex of the Galactic Hegemony Border Fleet. You have entered hegemony space without authorization. Identify yourself and state your purpose immediately." Silence. The bridge crew waited, the tension growing with each passing moment. Protocol dictated that all vessels respond to hegemony hails within 30 seconds or face immediate defensive measures. "No response, Commander," the communications officer finally reported. "I've tried all standard frequencies and translation protocols." Vex's expression hardened. "Scan for life signs." The sensor officer's brow furrowed as she studied her readings. The hull is interfering with our bioscanners, sir, but I'm detecting energy signatures consistent with life support systems. The ship is definitely occupied. Deploy recognition probes, Vex ordered. Full spectrum analysis. 3 small probes launched from the unwavering doctrine, streaking toward the mysterious vessel. These sophisticated devices were designed to gather comprehensive data on unknown ships, from hull composition to energy signatures. As the probes approached the vessel, something unexpected happened. The unidentified ship's surface shimmered slightly, and the probes suddenly veered off course, their trajectories becoming erratic before they went dark. Probes are non-responsive, Commander, the sensor officer reported, alarm evident in her voice. Some kind of interference field. Nothing in our records matches this technology. Vex felt a chill run down his spine. In his 300 years of service to the hegemony, he had never encountered a situation like this. The vessel's appearance without any detectable arrival signature, its unknown composition, its unresponsiveness to standard protocols. Everything about this situation violated the established order of space. Alert Central Command, Vex said, his voice calm despite the growing unease in his chest. Request immediate reinforcements and prepare defensive systems, non-aggressive posture, but ready. As the crew carried out his orders, Vex continued to study the strange ship. Its mere presence was an affront to hegemony authority, a challenge to the established order. Yet it had taken no aggressive action. It simply existed in space where it should not be, silent and inexplicable. Commander, the communications officer suddenly spoke. We're receiving a transmission. Not on any standard frequency. It's using a primitive electromagnetic wave pattern. Vex's antennae twitched in surprise. Put it through. The view screen changed to show a face unlike any in the hegemony catalog of known species. It had 2 eyes, horizontally oriented with rounded pupils, a single narrow nasal ridge, and a mouth with curiously mobile lips. The skin was a uniform tan color, with short dark hair covering the top of the head. The face was strikingly symmetrical, almost artificially so. This is Captain Ilara Chen of the Earth vessel Pathfinder. The creature spoke, its voice deeper than Vex had expected. We apologize for the unannounced arrival. Our translation systems are still processing your language. We come in peace and seek dialogue. The bridge fell silent. Earth. The word meant nothing to Vex or any member of his crew. It wasn't in any hegemony database, of that he was certain. A completely unknown species had somehow developed spacefaring technology, advanced enough to appear undetected in the heart of hegemony territory. By order of the galactic hegemony, Vex responded, drawing on centuries of diplomatic training. You are required to submit to immediate inspection and quarantine. Your unauthorized presence in hegemony space constitutes a violation of Interstellar Regulation 17.3. Power down your systems and prepare to be boarded. The face on the screen, this Captain Chen, showed an expression that Vex couldn't interpret. The lips curved slightly upward at the edges. I'm afraid that won't be possible, Commander, Chen responded. While we respect your authority in this region, our mission parameters preclude surrendering our vessel. We propose instead a diplomatic meeting. Our ship carries representatives authorized to establish formal relations between Earth and the galactic hegemony. Vex felt his temper rising. This was not how things worked. The hegemony didn't establish relations with random species that appeared from nowhere. There were protocols, assessments, centuries of careful observation before contact was permitted. Your proposal is rejected, Vex stated firmly. You will comply with hegemony directives or face the consequences. This is not a negotiation. The human's expression changed again, the eyes narrowing slightly. We understand your position, Commander. However, I must advise you that while we are committed to peaceful contact, we are equally committed to defending ourselves if necessary. I suggest we both take some time to consider our options. We will maintain our current position and await your next communication. Pathfinder out. The transmission ended, returning the view screen to the image of the alien vessel floating serenely in space. The audacity, Officer Fell muttered. They speak as if they have a choice. Vex didn't respond immediately. Something about this situation felt wrong. The confidence of these humans, their advanced technology, their casual dismissal of hegemony authority, it all suggested a species far more dangerous than their unassuming appearance would suggest. Tactical analysis, he finally ordered. What are we facing? The tactical officer studied her readings, frustration evident in her posture. Difficult to determine, Commander. Their hull is absorbing most of our scanning attempts. Energy readings suggest a power source unlike anything in our records, extremely compact, but generating output comparable to our main reactor. No visible weapon systems, but she hesitated. Continue, Vex prompted. If I'm interpreting these readings correctly, their entire hull might function as an energy projection system. Not like our focused weapons arrays, more like they could discharge energy from any point on their ship's surface. But that's just theoretical. We've never encountered such technology. Before Vex could respond, the sensor officer spoke up. Commander, I'm detecting unusual particle activity around the human vessel. Some kind of field is forming. On the view screen, the space around the Pathfinder seemed to ripple, like heat waves rising from a desert floor. The effect expanded outward, approaching the unwavering doctrine with alarming speed. Defensive measures, Vex ordered, but it was too late. The ripple passed through their ship as if it weren't there. No alarms sounded, no systems failed, yet every crew member felt it, a momentary sense of displacement, as if reality itself had cubed. Status report, Vex demanded. All systems operational, Commander, the engineering officer reported, sounding surprised. Whatever that was, it didn't damage our ship. Sir, the communications officer's voice wavered. We're receiving transmissions from everywhere. Our communication array is suddenly picking up thousands of signals from previously undetected sources. They're all using the same primitive electromagnetic spectrum as the human vessel. Vex's blood ran cold as understanding dawned. Show me space-time coordinates of signal origins. The main view screen shifted to display a star map of the region. Points of light began to appear, each representing a signal source. They were everywhere, within hegemony space, beyond its borders, concentrated around star systems, scattered through the void between. Thousands of them. Tens of thousands. Impossible, Officer Fell whispered. But Vex understood now. The humans hadn't just sent one ship. The Pathfinder was exactly what its name suggested, the first to make contact. But these humans had been watching, studying, spreading throughout the region undetected for who knew how long. The ripple effect hadn't been an attack. It had been the deactivation of some kind of cloaking technology on a massive scale. Commander, the sensor officer's voice was barely audible. I'm detecting additional vessels decloaking. Nearest one is less than 10,000 kilometers from our position. The view screen shifted again to show another human ship materializing from empty space. This one was different, larger, more angular, bristling with what were unmistakably weapon emplacements. As Vex watched in stunned silence, his secure communication channel chimed. It was Central Command, and the message was brief. Stand down. Diplomatic protocols engaged. The humans have been in contact with the High Council. Await further instructions. The hegemony, master of known space for 3 millennia, had just discovered they weren't alone in their sophistication. And Vex had the sinking feeling that the age of unchallenged hegemony dominance had come to an abrupt end. Captain Ilara Chen stood on the bridge of the Pathfinder, studying the holographic display of the hegemony vessel. Around her, the bridge crew worked with quiet efficiency, their movements precise and practiced. Unlike the pristine uniformity of the hegemony ship, the human bridge was a fusion of functionality and comfort. Ergonomic stations curved to accommodate human physiology, ambient lighting adjusted to Earth-standard circadian rhythms, and small personal touches, photos, trinkets, even a small plant, adorned individual workstations. "Well, that went about as expected," remarked Commander Dmitry Volkov, her executive officer. The tall Russian's face was impassive, but Chen detected the hint of amusement in his voice. "Actually, better than expected," Chen replied. "They didn't immediately open fire. That's something." Dr. Maya Patel, the ship's xenoanthropologist, approached with a data pad in hand. Her dark eyes sparkled with excitement despite the tension of the situation. Their response was textbook bureaucratic authoritarianism, the immediate demand for compliance, the refusal to consider alternatives, the threat of force, all consistent with our intelligence on hegemony first contact protocols. Chen nodded. Humanity had been studying the galactic hegemony for almost 70 years, ever since their first stealth probes had detected the vast empire spanning much of the galaxy. What they had discovered was a civilization of stunning technological achievement, but calcified social structures. A galactic power that had grown comfortable in its dominance, that had forgotten how to innovate, to adapt. "Status of the Phase 2 vessels?" Chen asked, turning to her tactical officer. "All ships have successfully decloaked, Captain," Lieutenant Commander Jack Reynolds reported. "The Intrepid, Dauntless, and Venture have taken up support positions around our perimeter. The rest of the fleet is maintaining strategic positions throughout hegemony space as planned." "And our signal burst." Reynolds grinned. "Perfect execution. Their communication networks are now flooded with our first contact package. Historical records, cultural primers, diplomatic overtures. Their sensors will be going crazy trying to contain it." Chen allowed herself a small smile. The hegemony maintained control partly through information restriction. Most citizens had no idea what existed beyond their borders. That was about to change dramatically. "Captain," the communications officer called out, "we're receiving a priority transmission from the hegemony vessel. Different frequency, encrypted channel." "Put it through, Lieutenant Park." The main view screen shifted to show Commander Vex again, but this time his posture was different. Less rigid, more uncertain. Behind him, Chen could see frantic activity on the hegemony bridge. "Captain Chen," Vex began, his translated voice strained, "I have received unusual orders from my superiors. It seems your representatives have already made contact with our High Council." Chen kept her expression neutral, though inwardly she celebrated this small victory. The parallel diplomatic mission to the hegemony capital had succeeded. "That's correct, Commander. Earth has been preparing for formal contact with the hegemony for some time. Today's revelation was coordinated at multiple levels." Vex's vertical pupils dilated slightly, a sign of stress, according to their xenobiology briefings. "I am instructed to escort your vessel to Outpost Station 17 for formal diplomatic proceedings. However, I must insist that your other vessels maintain their current positions. The sudden appearance of an armed fleet within our borders is being viewed with extreme concern." "Understood, Commander. Our vessels will maintain position unless threatened. The Pathfinder will follow your escort to the designated station." As the transmission ended, Volkov stepped closer to Chen, lowering his voice. "Think they'll try something?" Chen considered the question carefully. "Probably. The High Council may have agreed to talks, but the military arm of the hegemony won't accept our presence easily. Be ready for anything." "Always am, Captain." Volkov nodded and returned to his station. The unwavering doctrine slowly turned in space, its engines glowing as it prepared to lead them to the outpost. Chen gave the order to follow, and the Pathfinder's propulsion system engage, a nearly silent process thanks to humanity's mastery of gravitic manipulation. As they fell into formation behind the hegemony vessel, Chen studied its design more carefully. The elegance was undeniable. Sweeping curves of iridescent metal, precisely aligned sensor arrays, the golden hexagon emblem prominently displayed. Yet there was something sterile about it, something stagnant. The design had likely remained unchanged for centuries, perfected once and never questioned again. Dr. Patel, Chen called. What's your assessment of Commander Vex? The xenanthropologist considered the question. Acridians are long-lived. He could be several centuries old. Their culture values experience over innovation. He's likely never encountered a situation outside his training parameters until today. I'd expect a mixture of rigid adherence to protocol and profound existential crisis. That makes him dangerous. Potentially. When fundamental worldviews collapse, reactions can be extreme. Fight or flight, but on a civilizational scale. Chen nodded grimly. Humanity's strategy had been designed to minimize violent response, but risk could never be eliminated entirely. They were, after all, challenging the established order of an entire galaxy. The journey to Outpost Station 17 took just under an hour at sublight speeds. As they approached, the massive structure came into view, the sprawling complex of interconnected modules orbiting a lifeless moon. Unlike the elegant hegemony ships, the station was brutally functional, a testament to the Empire's pragmatic approach to its border facilities. Scanning the station, announced Lieutenant Reynolds. Detecting standard defense systems, nothing unexpected. Approximately 3,000 life forms aboard, mixed species. No additional warships, but there's a patrol squadron of lighter vessels docked in the main bay. Chen acknowledged the report with a nod. Dr. Patel, Commander Volkov, Lieutenant Park, you're with me for the diplomatic party. Lieutenant Commander Reynolds, you have the bridge. Standard protocols if anything goes sideways. Understood, Captain. Reynolds replied, his expression serious. Everyone on board understood what standard protocols meant. The Pathfinder carried enough firepower to reduce the station to atoms if necessary, despite its primarily diplomatic mission. After docking at the designated bay, Chen and her team prepared to disembark. They wore standard Earth Diplomatic Corps uniforms, navy blue with silver accents, the Earth logo, a stylized globe with a single orbital ring, emblazoned on the left breast. No visible weapons, though each uniform contained numerous defensive technologies woven into the fabric itself. Remember, Chen said as they gathered at the airlock, we are representatives of all humanity today. Our goal is peaceful contact, but we do not accept subjugation. Clarity and strength in equal measure. The airlock cycled, and they stepped onto the station. A delegation awaited them, Commander Vex at the front, flanked by various officials in ornate uniforms denoting their bureaucratic rank in the hegemony hierarchy. Behind them stood a contingent of security personnel, their posture suggesting readiness for trouble. Captain Chen, Vex greeted them, his voice formal. Welcome to Outpost Station 17. These are Regional Coordinator Balthix and Security Director Kren. They will escort you to the diplomatic chamber. Chen inclined her head respectfully. Thank you, Commander Vex. May I present Commander Dmitry Volkov, my executive officer, Dr. Maya Patel, our cultural attaché, and Lieutenant Minji Park, our communications specialist. The introductions completed, they were led through the station's corridors. Chen noted everything. The architectural style, the diverse alien species that stopped to stare at the human delegation, the subtle but omnipresent security measures. The hegemony's power was on full display here, from the massive viewports showing the expanse of their territory to the historical murals depicting their rise to galactic dominance. The diplomatic chamber was a large, circular room dominated by a central table. The walls displayed moving images of various hegemony worlds, a reminder of their vast territory and diverse environments. As the human delegation took their seats, Chen noticed subtle scanning beams passing over them, security measures analyzing them for weapons or other threats. Regional Coordinator Balthix, a tall insectoid being with multiple compound eyes, spoke first, their translated voice carrying a buzzing undertone. This situation is unprecedented. In the 3,000-year history of the galactic hegemony, no species has ever appeared fully developed within our borders. We have protocols for guiding primitive species toward eventual inclusion, not for this. We understand this is unusual, Chen replied diplomatically. Earth has been aware of the hegemony for some time, but we chose to complete our development independently before making formal contact. How? Demanded Security Director Kren, a stocky reptilian with scales that shifted color with his emotions, currently a deep red of agitation. How could you evade our detection systems? How could you place ships throughout our territory without our knowledge? Dr. Paddle leaned forward slightly. Perhaps it would help to understand something fundamental about human development patterns. Unlike many species, crisis and challenge accelerate our innovation rather than inhibiting it. When we detected your civilization 70 years ago, we recognized both opportunity and potential threat. This drove an unprecedented period of technological advancement. The hegemony officials exchanged glances. Vex's antennae twitched nervously. You developed faster because you feared us, Balthix asked, their compound eyes reflecting confusion. Not fear exactly, Chen clarified. Awareness. Recognition of a new paradigm. Humans adapt quickly to changing circumstances. It's our greatest strength. Kren's scales darkened further. And this adaptation included developing technology to infiltrate our territory, to spy on our worlds, to circumvent our most advanced detection systems. We preferred to understand before engaging, Chen said simply. Our history has taught us the value of preparation. The tension in the room was palpable. Chen could see the hegemony officials struggling to process not just the presence of humans, but the implications of their technological capabilities. A species that could remain undetected by the most powerful civilization in the galaxy, that could appear anywhere without warning. This was not merely a diplomatic challenge, but an existential one. The High Council, Balthix finally said, their voice subdued, has authorized preliminary diplomatic exchanges. However, I must be clear, your presence represents a severe disruption to the established order. Your ships must register with hegemony control systems. Your technology must be submitted for inspection and classification. Your population centers must be documented for the galactic census. Chen maintained her diplomatic smile, but her voice took on a firmer edge. With respect, Coordinator, Earth is not joining the hegemony as a subject state. We propose a different relationship, an alliance between equals. Our technology remains our own, as does our sovereignty. We offer trade, cultural exchange, scientific collaboration, but not submission. The statement hung in the air like a thrown gauntlet. Commander Vex looked as though he might be ill. Director Kren's scales had shifted to an alarming orange-red pattern. Coordinator Balthix's compound eyes reflected the room's light in rapid patterns. Impossible, Kren finally sputtered. The hegemony does not form alliances between equals. All species exist within our framework, under our protection and regulation. This is the natural order that has maintained peace for millennia. A peace built on technological suppression and information control. Chen countered, her voice still calm but carrying an unmistakable challenge. We've studied your history, Director. The hegemony advances by absorbing the innovations of new member species, then ensuring they develop no further. A carefully managed stasis. The accuracy of her assessment clearly shocked the hegemony officials. These were truths never spoken aloud in official settings. You understand nothing, Vex interjected, finding his voice. Before the hegemony, the galaxy was chaos. Interstellar wars, predatory species, technological catastrophes. Our suppression, as you call it, is salvation. Dr. Paddle spoke up, her academic tone providing a momentary respite from the tension. Perhaps both perspectives have merit. Stability has value, as does innovation. The question is whether a new paradigm might offer the benefits of both. Before any of the hegemony officials could respond, the chamber's communication system activated. A frantic voice spoke rapidly in the hegemony's administrative language. Chen couldn't understand the words, but the effect on the officials was immediate. Alarm, followed by controlled panic. What's happening? Chen asked, though she had a suspicion. Vex turned to her, his composure faltering. One of your vessels, the one you call Dauntless, is under attack. A hegemony battle group approached with demands to vacate their position. When they refused, the group opened fire. His voice dropped lower. The battle group has been neutralized. Chen kept her expression neutral despite her internal alarm. This was exactly the scenario they had hoped to avoid. Overzealous hegemony commanders taking matters into their own hands. I need to contact my ship immediately, she stated, rising from her seat. Security protocols are in effect, Kren said, his scales now pulsing with alternating patterns. This station is on lockdown. No communications in or out. Chen fixed him with a steady gaze. Director, I strongly recommend you reconsider that position. Right now, the Pathfinder is receiving no communication from its captain, while another human vessel has been attacked. Our response protocols in such situations are decisive. As if to emphasize her point, the station shuddered slightly. The lights flickered momentarily before stabilizing. What was that? Balthix demanded. If I had to guess, Chen replied calmly, my executive officer on the Pathfinder has just disabled your station's primary defensive grid and communication jammers. Standard procedure when diplomatic personnel may be under duress. The chamber fell silent. The demonstration of human technological superiority, surgical, precise, and executed without warning, had made Chen's point more effectively than any words could have. You cannot possibly hope to challenge the full might of the hegemony, Vex said, though his voice lacked conviction. We don't want to challenge you, Commander, Chen responded, her tone softening slightly. We want to work with you. But that requires mutual respect, not demands for submission. After a tense moment, Balthix made a gesture with their upper limbs, a sign of reluctant acquiescence. You may contact your vessel, Captain. Chen nodded to Lieutenant Park, who activated her communication device. Within moments, they had established a secure link to both the Pathfinder and Fleet Command. The situation was tense but stabilizing. The Dauntless had defended itself with targeted electromagnetic pulses that had disabled the hegemony vessels without causing casualties. A show of force and restraint simultaneously. When she returned her attention to the hegemony officials, Chen could see the shift in their posture, the reality of humanity's capabilities, and their potential as either ally or adversary had finally sunk in. Perhaps, Balthix said carefully, we could discuss this concept of alliance between equals in more detail. Chen smiled, genuine this time. I think that would be an excellent start. As the formal negotiations began, Chen reflected on the delicate balance they were attempting to strike. Humanity had revealed itself not from weakness but from strength, entering the galactic stage not as supplicants but as equals. It was unprecedented in hegemony history, a disruption to the established order that would send ripples throughout the galaxy. Yet in that disruption lay opportunity, for both humanity and the hegemony. A chance to break the stagnation of millennia, to forge a new path forward that combined stability with progress, tradition with innovation. The galaxy was about to change, and humanity, the unexpected arrival, would be at the center of that transformation.